still going to have to make a intro for NBA observations, something a little different. I'll work on that one. But it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. It's NBA observations, everyone. It's Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. It is, of course, Gerald Glassford talking to you right here for the Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Hopefully, I got a chance to talk to Melinda about Venom. That there, as far as Venom 3 is coming out this weekend. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. If you're in New Zealand, you can play it right now. So that's coming out this weekend as well, plus all the goings on in pop culture. I'm going ahead and talk about that right there for you at the Pop Culture Cosmos, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Check out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Joe Sorrell and I covering NFL Week 8 for your picks there. Plus, what advice do we give you about Russell Wilson and your fantasy football teams? Go ahead and check it out today. Inside Sports Fantasy Football as well. Plus, also, don't forget, we've got some great people supporting us, including Joe Soros here, Simblades with a Y.com and LakersBall.com. Of course, also Lakerholics crew of Laker Tom, Jamie Sweet, Michael Heinrich. I just made a emoji of him for all our new members. Go ahead and check out what we're doing today at Lakerholics.com. John Costas, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner, Empire Jeff TV, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, Yo, also as well Lakers in 5, also as well John McCallion channel. All these great places to go and see and do, but also like and subscribe while you're here. Subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break podcast. And I know Jeremy got a little testy last night because he didn't see his name. Well, because we have 60 members now going strong. For $2.99 a month, you get emojis, badges, special insights that only members get, plus everything in advance as far as our articles that I create. Or also as well, hopefully some other stuff as well. I'm trying to add to it as best I can. But you will get shout outs below. There's so many members right now. I have to go ahead and make a part 1, a part 2, and a part 3, and a part 4. So you will be seeing your name if you are a member here right below. And that'll be displayed for you if you're just $2.99 a month. Right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. What's up, everyone? It is Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for joining us on a Thursday evening. It is NBA observations. The Lakers and Suns play tomorrow. We'll be previewing that. We'll also be previewing later on Game 1 of the World Series, but want to go ahead and talk about some interesting things that went down today in the NBA. First up, good man here, Joe Sorrell is in the house, Ox1947 at LakersBall.com. And of course, Simblades with a Y.com. Joe, the first thing I want to talk about is in Clipperland, down the street from the Lakers at the Toilet Bowl / Intuit Dome / I don't know how legal the wall is. That I'm going to talk about with Laker Nick as soon as I get a chance. Hopefully tomorrow night on our playback.tv stream, I'll be able to talk with him more about that. But an interesting thing happened today. They got a lawsuit handed to them by their former trainer over the way things have gone down with Kawhi Leonard. So your thoughts on this, man, because, Kawhi has his own doctors, and then the Clippers, are they catering too much to Kawhi? How bad is that knee? And because the staffer, the strength and conditioning coach, questioned what was going on as far as the treatment, as far as the rehabilitation, as far as the work on the knee, he says he was unjustly fired by the Clippers. Lawrence Frank.
First thing I thought of was the scene in Varsity Blues when the character that what's his name from Fast and Furious? Jeez, my memory is just garbage right now.
Vin Diesel?
No, the other one.
Oh,
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a scene.
Fantastic.
There's a scene in Varsity Blues when Paul Walker hurts his knee. Sorry if you don't want. If you guys want to watch the movie, there's a spoiler coming. So mute your
It's been
radios.
decades, man. They have to get over it.
So he hurts his knee, and during that season, he was getting injections in his knee. There was issues with his knee, but he finally ended up tearing all the ligaments in his knee. He goes into the hospital, gets it fixed. The doctor comes out and he says, I'm surprised that there wasn't an issue before. This kid I removed a lot of scar tissue from that kid's knee. And the character that John Voight plays, which is the main head coach, is kind of a jerk. He goes, never knew that, he never told me anything. And that's kind of the whole story with him, is they didn't care, play by any means necessary. And it sounds like Kawhi Leonard has had an issue with his knee since San Diego State. And apparently this guy worked at San Diego State, and he followed Kawhi Leonard from there. And when it came time to whatever happened, they ended up bouncing him because he probably was the guy that was saying, hey, look, man, you guys are going to ruin this guy's knee if you keep doing this. And they're like, nah, we've spent too much money on him. I'm paraphrasing, but I'm making this up. It's just a bit. No, we're not going to listen to you. You're fired. So this sue happy culture of America, you don't get your way, you get to sue. And you sue people that are rich, they'll settle because it's a rich guy, and then it's done. And then all of a sudden now we hear about the wall. And now apparently we're getting, the first thoughts people have is suing. Sue. Now an owner of his own building can't dictate who he wants in the building. How does that make any sense? And he wants to create an atmosphere that enhances the experience in his team. And the other question I have is, who the hell wants to go to a Clipper game anyways? Unless they're Clipper fans. What
if it's the Clippers Lakers and you want those seats? And so they want to try to sell those seats to you, but they can't.
I don't want those seats. I'll get other seats. Why would I want to hang out with a bunch of Clipper fans?
Troll them right in front of their friends.
To me, I'm sorry, but this suing whenever you don't get your way is a bitch move. Seriously, you're a bitch. Ever since I heard that story about that homeless guy suing the people that were giving out free food because he got sick, fuck that. No, fuck you. That's a fucked up thing to do. You're starving to death. They give you free food, and then you sue them because you got sick. Sue when you don't get your way. No, I'm not gonna buy that one. That one pisses me off. Let them create something new here. Let them create that college atmosphere or whatever. And that's it. Seriously, I don't understand what the problem is and why it's even a discussion. But as far as Kawhi Leonard, I'm going to say it again. Kawhi Leonard should have just went to the Lakers. He would have won a couple more championships, maybe even 3, and you wouldn't have had to work as hard. And neither would LeBron and AD. And they would have had a dynasty here. But his dumbass wanted to start his own thing as a Clipper, a cursed, shitty organization, no matter who owns it. And this is your reward, Kawhi. Yeah, I know you have two rings and a Hall of Fame career, but you could have had 5 rings if you had just done the simple job.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is NBA Observations. It is Gerald Glassford along with Joe Sorrell right here for you from Oxide47 at LakersBall.com and, of course, Simblades with a Y.com. Well, I mean, Intel, a lot of people are talking about it. It is the new Intuit Dome, $70 parking. They talked about all the advancements as far as what you need to do in order to get in, the facial recognition, the app that is, provides convenience, but also provides a lot of other things as well. A lot of things that they're doing differently, a lot of modernization to it. Of course, the halo that they're talking about with the scoreboard that literally surrounds the entire arena. The wall with the 13 plus rows of nothing but Clippers fans freaking out Kevin Durant when you take free throws. Yes, Intel, I'm sorry, $68 to be exact. $68 of parking that you can go ahead. It's like you can do it on the app there that they have.
Another reason not to go to a Clipper game. That is absolutely ridiculous. That right there is a joke. That's completely just trash. You're a piece of shit, dude, for doing that.
I mean, that's where we're at now, Joe. I mean, you really want to get close, and people are paying it. It wouldn't charge that much if people weren't paying it. So there's stupid people out there that want to pay it.
No, sorry.
Okay. Just saying. Bloodhound says it's a beautiful arena. The Clippers just aren't popular in LA. Well, maybe they can move out and somebody else will move in.
They ain't moving anywhere when their franchise is worth $7 billion.
It is now. It's not a scary thought that the Clippers are worth $7 billion. So
it's called professional sports and the big three. You got Mike Brown ownership in Cincinnati. You got the Bidwells in Arizona. You have the McCaskies in Chicago. Chicago's different. It's Chicago. But these old owners or just cursed teams that are just rolling in the dough on paper at the very least. And if Ballmer put that team up for $8 billion, somebody would buy like this.
with that, though, the Clippers, the reality is without Kawhi Leonard, without Paul George, you saw the fact that they lost in overtime to Phoenix yesterday, despite the wall and despite all the new ambiance that is the Intuit Dome. The Clippers season, I mean, we will relish in the fact that the Clippers season, if you're basing it off of an much older James Harden, doesn't really look that good.
I'm going to be honest with you, and probably no one's going to believe me, but I don't think about the Clippers, even when they were competing. I was irritated that the Lakers kept losing to them. But in the end, what do we say about the 2004 season when we saw amazing games that year, 0.4, beating Minnesota the way they did, Kobe having that amazing last-second shot in Game 2 in the finals? What do we say in the end of all this? It didn't mean anything. They didn't win it all. And they should have. So all those wins that the Clippers had against the Lakers in two different versions of this new competitive Clipper, whether it was the CP3, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan era, or whether it was the Kawhi and Paul George era, it amounted in the end exactly dick. If there's no payoff in the end, it doesn't matter. And now they've been completely just undressed at this point. Their second guy left. The first guy's about to probably just stick around enough to collect his money and go home.
With that, though, there's other goings on in the NBA. I want to ask you this. Joel Embiid has come out to be a source of consternation to the league. We all got the advance word that he was going to be held out for back-to-backs. He was going to be held out because they want to save him for the playoffs. Well, the league is investigating that. Obviously, they didn't like the white sweatsuit he was in yesterday, or something about him that they didn't like, because the fact is, because he was sitting out the first game for the Sixers, they're now investigating the 76ers, which it's apparent they are trying to sit him out. They are trying to go ahead and rest management, load management, whatever you want to go ahead and do. It's obviously they have a bigger goal in mind, but with this new system where, you want the national TV games to always have the star players, Joe, the NBA is always going to be in conflict with teams that have different ideals about how they want to play their players.
I have a theory about why that is now, why they're being aggressive. They just signed a $70 billion contract, the TV contract, and I'm assuming that there was some discussions about load management for the star players. The irony in this is Embiid is a legitimately injured player. He's Kawhi Leonard about 4 years ago, where they had to kind of monitor him. Embiid probably has 2 or 3 years left before he's probably done. And the fact that they're going after him is, of course, kind of poetic too, because Joel Embiid kind of brings that on to himself. I don't know how the NBA is going to get around this. I really don't. Talk about suing. What if he sues, right? He ends up not playing and he ends up suing the NBA for cutting his career short. Who knows? But it's unfortunate too, because if they force him to play, he's probably not going to make it through the end of the year. Paul George, probably maybe the same, but I don't think he's debilitated as much as Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid has been injured since he's come in the league.
Yeah, they had the back injury to start off with.
Joe Ingles, I feel indifferent tomorrow on who would win. I don't know who's going to win tomorrow. However, I don't feel worried. I could see them win, and I could say, you know what? It's a hell of a start, 2-0. The issue is the following night, they got to play Sacramento.
And Sacramento just lost to Minnesota by 2.
I'm telling you guys, if they win the next 2, if they go 3-1 in the first 4 games, it's going to be a really good sign. It's a really good sign. I guess if I had to pick how this can work out in that scenario, I'd like to win the first 3 games at home. And then if they lose to Phoenix on the road, then that's a little kind of understandable on the road, because they're going to go on the road right after that. They're going to continue the road trip to the Midwest, and then I think there's some really winnable games there where they can come back with a good record.
Empire Jeff says we actually had our way with the Suns most of last season. I know they had guys out, but it feels like we match up well with them.
They matched up well in the preseason game until they kind of mailed it in at the end there. If they go 5-0, you guys are going to see a avalanche coming. Laker fans are going to go nuts, and the media is going to go nuts. And I would like to be there for that. I'm ready for a 5-0 start, man. When was the last time we started 5-0? It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, man. I would love that.
What did our 2019 team start out at?
I don't remember. I have to look at it. When you go through your next segment, I'll look at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is the Lakers and Suns tomorrow. I'm going to start with the pregame. Then we'll get you in at game time, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, and then followed up with the best Lakers post game that's out there. That's right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Shout out to the 12,200 people that got a chance to check out on our Facebook page the game as far as our playback.tv scoreboard chat. Not sure that's what they wanted, but they got us anyways. So truly appreciate all of them stopping over. And then, of course, to all the people who became members and saw us on opening night, we also thank you as well. Yes, sir.
So they started 7-1.
Mm-hmm.
Then they lost to Toronto, which made them 7-2. And then they went on a 10-game winning streak and were 17-2 in the first 19 games. Pretty hell of a start that year. And then they lost to Dallas. And then they were 17-3. And then they won 7 in a row. They were 24-3 that year to start the season. And then they had a really bad patch right before Christmas and Christmas, where they lost 4 in a row. Then they won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow, I forgot how many huge winning streaks they had that year. It's better year than I thought.
I'm putting out as far as for our members, phase 3. So if you see your name there, you get a big shout out from us being one of our great members. Just $2.99 a month gets you shout outs, emojis, badges, and more. And in special insight stuff only you guys get from all of us here at the Lakers Fast Break. So Joe, if that's the case, again, the back-to-backs, in the NBA are tough. They just don't bring it on both nights of a back-to-back. It's hard for NBA teams to do so. So I'm expecting a split, to be honest with you. I think it's fair to expect a split. Don't you think?
No.
Okay. Well.
No, I don't want to think that way.
All right, then you don't think
The
that
reason
way.
why I was saying that the Sacramento game was going to be probably the hardest because Sacramento's been playing really well against us. I'm
Okay.
not thinking about the back-to-back. For God's sakes, it's 4 games in. If you can't play a back-to-back 4 games in, then what the hell are you doing?
Okay.
Just saying. Come on, guys. It's not even we barely started here, or we can't be talking about back-to-back issues. I would I would focus more on the fact that at least it's at home in back-to-back games. Then get these 3 games into the win column. If you have to lose a game in Phoenix, and then win those games in the Midwest. Get that out of the way too, because you're going to be fresh, making that ugly road trip to the cold areas.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It's NBA Observations along with me, Gerald Glassford. It is Joe Sorrell. Make sure you go ahead and check out what he's doing today at Simblades on Instagram and wherever you get your social media. So, Joe, some of the more interesting things that's happened so far in the NBA, a couple notable injuries. James Wiseman, backup center, once a number 2 pick by Golden State. His career, some of it's by him, some of it's just bad luck. Well, that bad luck reared its ugly head, and he blew out his Achilles last night within the first few minutes of action. So his season is done, and I don't know where his career really goes from there. DeJounte Murray, who we made a fervor for trade deadline as far as trying to get him here to the Los Angeles Lakers. Well, he broke his hand in the first game, and he is also out for an extended period of time as well. So the injury bug is starting early and often in the NBA so far, Joe.
Well,
by the way, how's your ankle?
Good. It's getting better, guys. Thank you. I've been massaging it with that chiropractor gun and trying to keep it elevated as much as I can. Man, Weissman. What can you say, man? To keep it light, one of the more disappointing picks. One of those things where I'm not Stone Hansen when it comes to scouting the amateur games, but I do pay attention a little bit. Golden State had a golden opportunity to get really lucky with their downturn the year before and possibly get a pick that could have maybe took them extended whatever they were doing. Unfortunately, it was at a bad time. It was one of the more kind of suckier draft classes that there was the last decade, and Weissman is probably the worst one, other than maybe Anthony Bennett in my book. And it's just a guy that couldn't make it work. It's just a guy that couldn't make it work. Achilles blowout, that usually ends careers, no matter how much science is at its peak right now. I don't see him. He might come back, but
he is young, still young.
He is, and I'm sure he'll still play because he can still get paid because he's a big guy and all that. But he's not very good. He's just not good, and I got nothing else for that. There's nothing endearing in terms of his game that makes you think, okay, this is a guy that might have some value.
But the Pelicans made a big trade for Murray to bring him in to be that, not just a facilitator, but a guy they wanted to bring in, younger, more athletic, taller, can defend better than CJ McCollum. They envisioned him in a better starting lineup. They still haven't gotten all the kinks worked out yet with CJ McCollum, with Brandon Ingram, what their situations are. Still haven't figured out getting a center, but talent-wise, they had a lot of options, but having DeJounte Murray out for several weeks, it's not exactly the greatest start they wanted to get to for a guy they traded a lot of assets for already.
That's a broken hand. He'll be back in 6 weeks. I think they'll be okay. It's just you don't know how competitive the West can be at this point. It could be what we have been talking about, it having maybe 10 or 11 teams that are competing. But then again, it's always like that. Next man up at this point until he gets back. It's a broken hand on his non-shooting hand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's something that he could play with a little bit earlier because it's not a shooting hand, but he'll be fine. I broke my hand my last year in football, and I was a center, and I was able to put the huge cast on and all the rubbers, and I just made myself a fist and still function, and that was football. So I think Murray will be fine. Just he's young; he'll probably heal quicker too.
So with that, there's still some goings on in the NBA. Wanted to go ahead and get your thoughts on this. The first matchup of two teams that both have been thought of at the top of the Western Conference, depending on how you see them. I know that some of our panelists have picked one team at the top of the Western Conference. The home team in this game was also picked by some of our panelists to go a long way as well. And that was Oklahoma City and Denver. And obviously it's just the first game, but Oklahoma City on the road throttled the Nuggets by 15 tonight in a big time defensive performance, even without Hartenstein in there, who's also out with a broken hand, and also their backup Williams, the backup center Williams, also out as well. So with that, my friend, they still put the lockdown on the Nuggets, 35% overall from the field and under 20% from three. So great defensive performance. What does this tell you as far as the night about Oklahoma City and Denver early on? Again, just the first game, but a impressive victory on the road for the Thunder regardless.
It's interesting. Caruso played 19 minutes and was a plus 19, and he didn't even score a point.
Yep.
How
that's a typical Caruso.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say typical. Caruso usually shoots a couple shots in. It shows you that this is Presti's this is it. This next 5 to 6 year run here. I don't know if Oklahoma City can keep everybody, but the core they can keep. And guys like Caruso aren't going to demand $20 million, right? So this is a team that I honestly think next year they're going to win a championship.
You think it's too soon this year?
I think they might be a little short this year, but I think they're going to be ready next year.
Remember, they can still get anyone that they want
right
on the fly because they have 10,000 assets still in their coffers.
But you got to be careful when you do that. Continuity plays a huge factor in this, and
good point.
Putting together the right pieces. So continuity is important, and then when you add, let's say, a Caruso in this, and of course a Hartenstein, these are perfect parts that you're putting on a team, a young team. You're putting the perfect pieces to a young team. You're adding that veteran player in a spot you need, and they also know who they are. Hartenstein's not going to sit there and need the ball down low every other play. Caruso doesn't give a damn about anything other than playing team ball and defense. This team is perfect. And I think Chet Holmgren is probably going to be, from what I've seen, an all-NBA player next year. And that's what's probably going to tip him over too.
He played like one today. Let me just give you the 25 points, 14 rebounds, 4 block shots, 5 assists, and 2 steals.
He might be one this year too. Might make a third team. If he plays like this, obviously it'll be higher. But it's one game right now. Let's see how things develop. Chet does have a issue with the history of being injured, so I want to kind of gauge this a little bit with a few more games to make a call. But it's a team that's got it. It's really got it. And Denver is still a very, very good team. We got to wait for that to materialize. I've picked them to go to the finals again because I think they're probably going to make I think if they get to the point where they have to add somebody, I think they're going to do that, and it might be someone that can help them.
Well, speaking of somebody that was supposed to help them, at JSJ, even before we went on the air, mentioned it. Jokic, we talked about during the course of the summer, Jokic really wanted Russell Westbrook, on his team. So after he got traded from the Clippers to Utah and they got waived by Utah, he made an extra effort to let the front office know that, hey, I want Westbrook on this team. So in his first game, now it was only his first game, 6 points, plus minus 24, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, but 1 of 6 from 3 and 2 of 10 overall for Russell Westbrook, Joe.
That's a great point. Great point, JY. Imagine if the Clippers win the lottery. Their pick goes to OKC, right?
Yes. I think they have two. I think there's 2 teams that OKC controls.
Jeez.
So there's 2
what do you
teams.
do then, man? What do you do? Not only did you trade an MVP candidate on the ascent still, but then you end up losing a first pick of one of the most prized guys that are coming out here soon. Wow, I don't even know what to say. I actually would feel sorry. I actually would feel sorry for the Clippers because I actually like Ballmer.
So here's what
I like him. I like him.
he is again. It is the Clippers, but we like him as an owner. I do
That's
think
a good one. I didn't think of that one. Actually.
Now get this, Joe. Get this. What they have for next year as far as draft picks. I want to run it down. First off, they have their own. Then they have Utah protected 1 to 10. So Utah has to totally tank. Otherwise, they could give that up. Philadelphia protected 1 to 6, a first rounder. Guess what? Philadelphia's in it to win it, so they're probably going to get that pick. They have Miami's pick protected 1 to 14. So if Miami is in the playoff mix, they'll be giving that to OKC. Now here's the kicker, Joe. Here's the one we're talking about. Houston or the Clippers. OKC has the right to swap its 2025 first round pick for Houston's 2025 first round pick, protected for selections 1 to 10, or the Clippers 2025 first round pick. So they get that, Joe. So you've got the best of both worlds. If Houston plays like they did the other night when they lost at home, they got upset by Charlotte, and they have a terrible season, they can swap it. Or if the Clippers have the worst season, Joe, guess what? They can grab that pick as well.
So this is going to be as good TV as you're going to get during the draft. This is probably going to be one of the more entertaining drafts just because of the Oklahoma City situation.
There's some other stuff added onto it, but that's basically the synopsis.
Right. Let's just finish this off since it's a subject we're talking about. If those guys ended up getting Cooper Flag because of these immense amount of scenarios where they could win the lottery having these picks, it's almost a guarantee that Oklahoma City will win next year. Then it's a guarantee. Cooper Flag, a rookie coming in with this kind of seasoned young talent with vets, and you put in Cooper Flag becomes Magic Johnson. He becomes the rookie. Well, it wouldn't be rookie of the year because Larry Bird won rookie of the year, but he'd be that prized rookie who ends up winning a championship in his first year.
I do want to go ahead and mention, though, that on the bad side, guys, Boston has come out dominant in 2 wins, both on the road and home. Yeah, it's early, but
Wizards.
Yeah, the Wizards. It was an easy victory on the road, but their first night against New York at home, almost 33s there, my friend. Somebody's got to try to figure them out, Joe, because their threes, they just chuck up enough. Even if they're not shooting great, they still chuck up so many that just by the sheer number of times that they throw it up, they seemingly, that's part of what makes them as good as they are right now.
Well, it's unfortunate that being Laker fans, it's unfortunate because Boston's Boston. They were fortunate to have had the path that they had. They didn't really run into any resistance in the East, And then when they got to Dallas in the finals, Kyrie Irving absolutely went to the crapper. And all they did was just let Luka do his thing, and that was it. Everyone else kind of folded. If you're going to beat the Celtics in a high pressure situation, you're going to have to play. You're going to have to play very, very good offensive basketball, and you're going to likely get enough. If you can get enough pressure on Boston, you're probably going to have a Jason Tatum not make shots regularly. That seems to be the MO in stopping the Celtics. There are a few teams right now that are playing that could do that. I don't know if there's any in the East, but there's definitely Oklahoma City. There's going to be a chance where if, geez, I don't even think they could do it.
Minnesota guards well on the wing.
I don't.
Oklahoma City
Yeah,
guards well on the wing. I mean, it has to be someone who can guard well on the 5-out, Joe.
Minnesota
That's
might
the
need
thing.
Minnesota might need something during the season if they want to get out of whatever rut they're in. But I'm not.
They just won tonight on the
Yeah,
road.
I don't know. I don't trust Anthony Edwards.
Randall had 33 tonight.
That's good, but he's not a defender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying though that last season, one thing Minnesota could do well was guard the 5-out. You saw the number that they did in Phoenix and Denver in those first 2 rounds. You're right. They probably do need something a little bit more to
The
go ahead
issue
and
with
get them there.
Boston, honestly, the issue with Boston, this is an issue because we're Laker fans. There's no issue, but I'm saying issue for us is the continuity and their coaching and their organization and these scumbags who keep doing things to Jason Tatum and Jason Tatum doesn't let it affect them. When you do that kind of stuff, the result's going to be you're going to keep winning. They're better without Porzingis, by the way. Porzingis is a luxury.
Mhm.
They don't really need him. So the NBA right now, there isn't really a clear cut anywhere other than the Boston Celtics. Oklahoma City could get there, but we have to see. Denver has that experience. They have the MVP, so you have to consider them a threat. But yeah, we have a lot to worry about, man. This could end badly again this year, and if the Celtics win another championship before the Lakers do, I don't think we're going to end up. It doesn't look like we're going to end up seeing the Lakers pass them in titles in our lifetime.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is NBA Observations. It is Joe Sorrell along with me, Joe Glassford. Thanks so much again for watching and listening. Truly appreciate it. And before we get to, as Intel's requesting, your thoughts on the World Series, I want to go ahead and just talk a little bit more NBA. Again, tomorrow night, it is the Lakers and the Suns. The Suns coming off their victory down the street at the Intuit Dome. It's not like they're flying in, Joe. It's not like there'll be plenty of rest. So you'll get 2 teams matched up early in the season. They're the 2 teams thought by many to be fighting it out in the Pacific Division.
It's never a good thing when a team is in LA or Miami for more than a day or so, because you know that they're doing stuff tonight, right now, as we speak. Will that be a distraction the next day? Maybe. You have a lot of young guys, right? I don't think Devin Booker's married. I don't think Durant's married. You got a lot of young guys there. I don't know if Bradley Beal's married. So these guys are probably partying it up here, especially after the win yesterday. And I hope they do. I hope they have a great time to the point where they're not really focused tomorrow. And at that point, if the Lakers do win tomorrow, we can look at it as well. They've been playing very well against this, like Jeff said. They've been playing really well against Phoenix. I'd like it to be something that's not as competitive, hopefully, if they do beat them, much like the Minnesota game. Then they can be a little bit more attentive to Sacramento the next night. And if they end up winning that game, now you can start saying, something's going on here. Not going all the way yet, but something's going on. And it's been a while since the Lakers have gone 3-0 to start the season.
Getting off to a good start, I think, is key, especially for the confidence for the team and the confidence in JJ Redick. And obviously the camaraderie and everybody's appreciating JJ Redick. You saw after the game, they doused him with water. Everybody was celebratory for his first victory. So there's a lot of good feelings and good love right now. The kumbaya is on high with JJ Redick. So, and obviously that's the way it should be to start off the season. Didn't work out that way in Milwaukee, but it is here in LA so far. So again, JJ has shown us things in the first game he did not show us in preseason, which is good because they had a defensive scheme that worked outside of that zone. And offensively, they stuck to their guns, offensive rebounds. And even though they didn't shoot particularly well, Joe, they got the victory, and that's all that mattered.
I guess substance to the game matters too. We did see a lot of things that we hadn't seen in a while with the wins for the Lakers.
Juan has a question when you're finished, by the way.
Sure. And if they come out tomorrow and because you remember last year, Naz Reid was shooting like he was on vacation. There wasn't anyone ever near him. He was hitting every shot. It was absolutely aggravating. And he was another guy during the game that I forgot was playing. If the Lakers, if JJ Redick tapped into something here that we didn't expect, I know certainly I didn't, to where he's got these guys locked in where there's no space for a lot of these players, and we see it again tomorrow against guys like Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. Well, folks, I'm gonna wait for the next night. If it happens again against Fox, happens again against DeRozan, I don't know. We might be on something here. The other teams are gonna adjust, right? They're gonna adjust. Lakers aren't gonna go 82-0, but if you start this season with three teams that have pretty good offensive weapons, Anthony Edwards, I would say, is a pretty damn good one. Naz Reid is the best bench guy, right, last year. And then you come in with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, and then after that you have DeRozan and De'Aaron Fox. You even if they don't win one of these games, but it's close, and they're playing really good defense or just good team ball, hey, we're probably looking at a 20-game scope here where it looks like maybe the Lakers might have found something. And that's what I'm crossing my fingers at. Getting ready to eat those olives. I still have to talk to the guys about what record the Lakers have to be at for me to eat crow.
Yeah, please clarify that because they're going to, these guys, if you are vague, anywhere near vague, they will go ahead and pounce on you that. But before we get to the next,
I'm not gonna. No, look, guys, you guys know I'm a common sense guy. Okay, if the Lakers end up starting 15-7 the first 22 games, or just say 18-10, I mean that's common sense. That means I was wrong. If you want to keep it simple, hell, let's say 25 games, right? Oh, no, I'm sorry, 35 games. 35 games, if they're sitting at 23-12. How about that? 23-12. 23-12. Is that a fair number?
It's a fair number.
If these guys go 23-12, it's pretty much.
You said 20-10 after 30 games because the 30 games.
20-10 is ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, that could 20-10.
Because remember, the 30 games is what Rob is saying he's using as an evaluation point.
What Doobie said, but I don't know if they're going to do that, Doobie. I don't think they're going to win 23 of 7. That's kind of asking a lot, right?
Yeah.
Even 23-14 is good.
But Rob said 30 games.
Let me confirm with the Laker ball boys and girls. Let me talk to them. I'll let them make that decision since I introduced it to them first. And they're going to be watching because of it. So Let me ask them, and I'll come back on the next show, and we'll have a definite number. Now, here's the other thing: if we say, let's just say 23-7, right, and they win and they go 22-8, maybe we might need to open up that margin a little too.
I can't stand them either. I can eat them, but I hate black olives
Guys,
too.
I
So
cannot tell. I'm not lying when I say this. This is not a joke.
I might have to
I
get in on that one
cannot
too.
eat black olives. It is torture.
I hate them too.
I
So
have tried and I've tried and I've tried and I cannot.
I'll tell you what. I'll go and you know what? We're friends. So if you do it, I'll go in with you.
Okay,
I'll
so
go in with you.
I'll get a half a jar of olives. You get the other half.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll save me.
But yeah, I can't even handle on pizza or anything like that. But
I can't
before
do it, man. I can't.
I gotta ask you this question because I don't want to forget. Juan is asking because he is in San Diego. He wants to know the best fish tacos. I
Oh,
made my suggestion, but yeah, you know it better than I
TJ
do.
Oysters in Bonita. TJ Oyster.
That was mentioned. Yeah, that was mentioned.
TJ Oyster in Bonita. It's the Chula Vista area. It's on Bonita
Yeah.
Road.
Kurt mentioned it already. Kurt
Yes,
got it.
and get the smoked tuna tacos. Smoked tuna tacos. They used to call them the Marlin tacos, and also be aware that because I add cheese to mine, got to add the cheese. These tacos are like $5-6 a taco, and they're just like a fish, like a small little corn tortilla. Each of them are like $5-6. It's expensive, but they are worth it. And you gotta put the lime in it. I highly recommend the lime squeeze, and then a ice cold Mexican Coke, not regular Coke, not the canned Coke, the bottled Mexican Coke. Freaking out of this world.
If you're near La Jolla, I did have amazing tacos at the Cove House, and I'll just add that in as a second place to what was said. So for fish tacos, yes, I just want to go ahead and mention that as well. But once again, it is the Lakers fast break. But before we head on out, I wanted to give you plenty of time to talk about those Doyers. And obviously, hope they will go ahead before the game and honor the great Fernando Valenzuela, who passed away earlier this week at the age of 63. Game 1 of the World Series, Joe. This is what you wanted. This is what you've been talking about ever since I've heard you the first time you went on a Dave Roberts rant. This is what you ultimately wanted to come back to is the Dodgers having a viable chance once again to win the World Series.
So Daniel Barry said, "Let Dodgers in 4." I would love that.
We'd all love that.
I would love it, and I'm
except for Laker Tom.
Correct. The Dodgers are due 2 wins at home. They are very, very due. If they can manage this tomorrow and Saturday, I feel very comfortable that they probably don't come back from New York. But they have to win the first 2. They win the first 2. And if they win in the fashion that they've been winning, I just don't see how the Yankees are going to be able to compete. The juggernaut the hitting machine that the Dodgers have become, it's just not. You can't stop. And Garrett Cole's the last ace in this situation, but the Yankee bullpen isn't really there. Yes, they have some healthy. They have a healthy 6 pitchers, 4 pitchers, 5 pitchers, whatever it is that they have starter wise, but I just don't see how. I don't see how the Yankees are going to stop the Dodgers scoring. I just don't see it. They could keep up. There could be those scenarios where if Jack starts really bad tomorrow and allows 5-6 runs in the second inning, which is if you look at the 3 losses that the Dodgers have had, that's pretty much what's happened. They have these bad innings where a million runs happen and then they're toast. And when I say toast, they end up losing. But actually, in some of those games, they actually played pretty well. They played well. They almost came back, but they left a couple people stranded and then they kind of lost it at the end. But The Dodgers, if they keep hitting, which I don't see how they're going to get, they're going to stop. They keep dropping 7. They've been averaging 7 runs a game in this playoff run. They score 7 runs on average in this series. They're not going to lose. They're just not going to lose. Sorry, no matter how good Soto is pitching. And by the way, Vesia is 90% sure he's coming, so you're going to see Banda and Vesia see Soto a lot when it matters. And then Giancarlo Stanton is someone that I think they can, just be delicate with because he seems to be on during this time. And then I'm not, maybe Judge busts out in the World Series for all we know, but right now he's not really hitting very well. So I would be careful with him. Don't give him anything to hit. If you have to give him something to hit, make sure you're up 4-0. And then if he wants to take one out as a solo homer, let him do it.
By the way, Doobie says he wants to see you eat a slice of pizza with extra black olives when the Yanks win tomorrow because he's a New Yorker, my friend. But he still hates ham in wins and losses.
So I have to eat a pizza that has olives in it.
He said if the Yanks win tomorrow. That's kind of early. That's just for one game. What about the series? Don't you want to do a series instead, Doobie?
Do I have to eat it tomorrow? I'm kind of busy tomorrow.
Can we just do it like in a series thing, like whoever wins the series?
I mean, I'll do it. The next time I order a pizza, I'll do it. But I don't want to just go order a pizza for an olive munch.
Okay, well,
I'll roll with it. Just
all right.
Let me pick the day.
What's up, Alfred? Whenever you get a chance, my friend, I know you're covering the World Series for your network, World Baseball Network. Please, in the chat, go ahead and put the link for your network, Alfred, when you get a chance, my friend. I want to go ahead and make sure I give you props. But whenever you get a chance, please stop on by. We're catching up with NBA observations. Obviously, early signs. First off, Joe, again, it's only 1-2 games in the season so far. No early trends as of yet that we can actually discern or whatnot. But the Lakers obviously coming off the win tomorrow night against Phoenix. Some injuries to start off. Investigation already by the NBA. Don't you just love the fact that the NBA is already in full swing already and we are not even a week old?
So the investigation for load management and then litigation against the Clippers because a trainer got fired. Welcome to America.
Welcome to America, indeed. But Clippers already has distractions, so that doesn't bode well for them in their future.
They could have no distractions or distractions. They're not going to do anything this year, unfortunately.
Okay, I'm just saying. Yeah, of course. Again, when you saw it already, I mean, they have some guys, but then also as well, unfortunately, they just don't have anything.
We knew this. We knew this. Losing
Yeah.
Paul George was huge. Losing Paul George was huge, and at the same time, Kawhi Leonard is disintegrating by the minute. He's only around because if this was going to be his last year in terms of his contract, he would have probably said, "Oh, this is my last year. I'm going to retire at the end of the year." I'm pretty sure of that because I don't think anybody else would have given him money, and he might as well just let it go, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the key. I think that's right now it's just money. It's just money. He's not playing for any other reason. He has 2 more years left, getting $50 million and a little over $50 million, and then that'll be it. James Harden has a player option at the end of this year. I'll be curious to see what happens with him.
Oh, he'll cash in on it.
So you're telling me that if he doesn't pick up that option, somebody else is going to give him $36 million?
No, somebody won't give him 36 million. Remember, he left money on he thought he was going to be able to get money out there in free agency and got burned over money that he could have kept, more money he could have kept on an option. So he's burned himself once. I don't think he'll do it again.
What happens? I would like to know if Kawhi really can't go on after this year. How does that extra $100 million left on his contract get figured out? Does he do a buyout with the Clippers? Is that I don't know the CBA
Could they?
yet.
Could they? But they can still stretch it, Joe, over the course of a
Do
3
you
to 5
realize
year period.
stretch $100 million though?
Yeah, that's the problem,
I don't
though.
think I'd want to. It's a good problem if there's a place as a fan that you're okay with it being you have to eat it one way or the other.
Well,
But
you could put like
Palmer,
Lonzo Ball. Remember, Lonzo Ball was absolutely headed down that road. He miraculously recovered, but it looked like he was going to head down that road as well, Joe.
so it's looking like they're gonna have to wait. They're gonna have to wait until 2027, and that's it. So you have this year, and then 2 years after that until that contract's out. Clippers are screwed. The Clippers are screwed. They're not going to be able to go after anything, and of course the draft picks now being where they're at, they put all their eggs in this Paul George, Kawhi Leonard box, and I don't know why. I don't know why they did that. I,
If
I,
he's, I
that
was
was a
just going
dumb.
to say,
That was not a smart move.
no. But if he's still out the entire year, like Lonzo, could the team file insurance claim?
Oh yeah,
Like,
they'll get the insurance, but I'm also thinking, how does the insurance work when the insurance company knows that Kawhi Leonard is injury prone? These are things I think we need to start investigating, Gerald, because I think this is information that has never gets told to us. I'd
mhm.
really like to know more about that. So stay tuned, folks. We're going to find out more information. We're going to do a lot of undercover work this year, guys. Number one, you all know I want to go find all the voters for these awards so we can, pay attention to them. The other is I want to find out exactly how a buyout works on a retirement setup.
Yeah, Darren, his count, as long as he's still a member of the team, his contract is going to count against the cap, like you said, unless he negotiates a buyout. But then, if that's the case, I think that buyout would still, however they segment it out, would still count against the cap, as far as it's concerned, and that would be a huge buyout. I don't think Kawhi will do it, but again, we've seen stuff like this before. So yeah, this is just such an interesting scenario. Again, Kawhi, we don't know if he's going to be out the entire year. There's nothing been definitive, but again, it's always a mystery. Always a mystery. Cloud shrouded in mystery. Always with Kawhi, it's never anything definitive. He's always got his doctors, the front office and Clippers staff. They just don't tell you. They're never straight up with anything that's going on with concerns Kawhi. You saw the issue start, when he got named to Team USA, and he was already having issues and he was already sitting out, and they finally cut him right away. And people were barking, why were they doing that? Why'd they even put him on there in the first place? Now that leads me to ask you, Joe, why did they put him on the team in the first place? Because it's clear that this is an ongoing issue. It's been going on for quite some time, and it doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon for Kawhi Leonard.
Hope.
Your favorite
It
H word.
sounded. I know it's hindsight's 2020, but hope was the hope was that they would be competing for a championship immediately, which they were close. They were one game away from meeting the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals in 2020, and they had some opportunities in 2021 that they didn't come through, and then 2022, of course. Ballmer traded the future for at least one championship. I don't think it had anything to do with the arena. That'd be kind of a weird hope to wait 5 years to introduce Kawhi Leonard to an arena. They had to have known that this was going to be an issue.
So basically, it's $50 million a year for this year, next year, and the year after.
Yeah, until 2027. The last year's 2027. So the Clipper fans are going to have to wait till that summer before they can probably sign someone of any significance, which that in itself has become a problem. Who's going to leave? Who's going to leave Supermaxes? We haven't had. Who was the last big free agent that left during free agency in the last few years?
Well, free agency is becoming less and less relevant because the fact that all these guys are signing these long-term deals, and they're staying with the teams. If they want to leave, then they just moan and groan to their front office until they get what they want.
Was it who was the last one though? Do you remember?
The last major free
The
agent.
last major named free agent. Was it Durant going
But
to Brooklyn?
there's got to be so, yeah, Durant to Brooklyn and then Kyrie to Brooklyn.
Right?
Yeah, so that was a
Who
package
else?
deal.
I mean, I guess you could say Paul George went to Philadelphia, right?
Yeah,
So that's probably the last one.
because that's a $50 million player right there.
So
Yeah.
Paul George recently, but he's kind of a secondary guy, maybe even third.
He should be number 3 on that team if everything's working right.
Okay. Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, though, JSJ, how much are you getting at this point? You know he's not a great regular season player. He always turns it up in the playoffs. Plus, he's 35. He is not the same player he once was. He might be a free agent, I believe, next season.
Let's look.
I think. I'm not 100%.
Miami Heat.
Butler contract.
Miami, yeah, he's done. He's got a player option for next year.
Yeah, so he has.
Oh, wait. This year, after he's done this year.
So it's 52 million for the next season. So
it's a player option. I'm assuming that the Miami Heat are not going to extend them.
They would have already. Remember the comments that was made at the end of last season by Pat Riley about him. So
does he opt out? Because we know Gobert is opting out.
He won't get that money. He will not get that kind of money in free agency.
Gobert is opting out of his $46 million.
No, that Gobert just got signed. He just got extended.
Did he?
Yeah, he just got extended. Let me go ahead and get your numbers on that.
And that's why he opted out, right?
Yeah, he opted out. The same thing. He did the same thing that Aaron Gordon did. Aaron Gordon, they opted into a smaller deal up front so they could get more on the back end.
In years, yeah.
Yeah, so it could save the team money up front. So that's $110 million extension. And it removed the 40, in his case, it removed the 47 million player option. In the Aaron Gordon case, I believe he picked up the final year was like 22 million. And then they put a nice kicker for Aaron Gordon so that they could save $60 million overall on the salary cap, Joe. Or reported 60 million per Bobby Marks of ESPN. So
good for them. Good for them. Looks like Denver is going to roll with Aaron Gordon, Jokic, Porter Jr., and Jamal Murray for the next few years.
Didn't work out so well tonight.
No, I mean, but you got 4 guys that are champions, and there's familiarity, there's chemistry there. Got to be careful, folks. Denver's going to be still going to be good.
And it's just game 1, so we just want to put that in perspective. So.
And I'm not going to be that guy after 10 games, and if they're 5-5, then I'd be like, whoa, what's going on here? But we've seen teams start slow too and end up doing well. We got to wait. Got to wait till the end of December. Let's just wait till January 1.
Look at the Lakers.
For those teams, well, the Lakers are different because the Lakers don't have room to screw up at the beginning. Denver they can screw up.
Well, we're talking about 2 seasons ago on their Western Conference Finals run. So they turned it up late, but you can't only do that so many times as far as turning it up late, like they did last year and the year before. So we'll see. Again, I think they should get off to a better start, and hopefully it'll continue tomorrow against the Suns. This whole NBA Cup thing, I think, is going to throw everything out of whack like it always does. So you don't always get a good read because as we saw last year, some teams like the Lakers and Indiana were really playing with effort, trying hard to win that cup, where other teams just said, you know what, go ahead and do what you need to do. We're just going to go ahead and do what we need to do and then move on from there. And it worked out well for some of these teams. For the Lakers, you and I went back and forth, but we saw the residual results of what happened. They won that NBA Cup, and they just could not get it going for at least a month after that. So, again, we will probably see, like you said, how it plays out after the NBA Cup, and maybe we can get a better evaluation of these teams then.
So is the NBA going to really keep doing this in-season tournament stuff?
It's money, Joe. Emirates, they just paid a whole bunch of money to sponsor it, and it's not like it's a 1-year deal either. I think it's 10. Who is the Lakers groups, Joe? I haven't checked on out a month. Let me check. I forgot. Let me see. Lakers NBA group, Cup group, because it is now officially the NBA Cup again. It is not the in-season tournament. So
Yeah, I don't understand why Denver fans would be hurt by Laker coverage. Folks, the LA Lakers have been around since 1947. They have 17 championships. They have you could put arguably you could put an entire top 5 of NBA all-time players, all Lakers.
just to let you know, they are in Group B. Here we go, Joe. Ready to hear? Cover your ears, everyone. The Thunder, the Suns, the Spurs, and the Jazz are with the Lakers in West Group B this year. Okay.
What do you guys what does Denver expect? Jokic is a bore. Jamal Murray might be a little exciting there. He's not a he's just not Jamal Murray is not household. LeBron is.
It's their mandate. ESPN has a mandate. They even joke about it. They can't stand it, all the NBA reporters, but they have to do it, that they have to go ahead and give the Lakers priority coverage over anyone else, whether it's Bronny, whether it's LeBron, whether it's just the team overall. It is a mandate by ESPN because it's just proven ratings, Joe. It's just proven ratings when you talk about them, or when they talk about them, when they cover them, when they write articles about them. It leads to clicks, it leads to ratings. It's just that simple. It's just all about what is moving the machine at ESPN. And it's clear the Lakers, the Cowboys, would you say the Dodgers and the Yankees? This is a great win for ESPN. They're getting the Dodgers and the Yankees for the next few days, but would you say those are the teams that move the needle the most in their respective sports for ESPN?
I don't think you can get bigger than a Yankee Dodger World Series. Not only that, you have the 2 best players on the planet playing. This is absolute baseball. It's so hard to get the best players playing in the marquee games.
And they want to do this to get to they're reaching out to that young audience, Joe. This is not about getting guys like you and I to watch, because we'll watch. It's getting Gen Z to pay attention so that the game will grow continuously further down
If
the
you
road.
don't think that there's a lot of hype, there's no. You just look at the tickets being sold right now. They're double what they were last year almost. People want to see the 2 best players, and Japan is going to be Japan had I think there was a 20 rating.
Oh yeah, yeah. My wife was there last month, and
Yeah.
they were just absolutely just
Yeah, no,
24-hour clock, 24-hour coverage on
Japan
their
is
phone.
watching everything. Japan is watching everything Otani, and then you got the Yankees and the Dodgers. Pretty much, I know that St. Louis Cardinals have 11 championships, but the Dodgers are really second to the Yankees in terms of popularity in baseball all over the world. In a lot of ways, the Dodgers are very popular in certain regions because of the huge Latin fan base due to the farm system being what it is. They're never going to be bigger than the Yankees. Yankees made their mark just way too much the first 50 years of the 20th century. They had Mickey Mantle and Joe DiMaggio and Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, and were winning championships left and right. But yeah, this is central casting for everything. I just want to live in a existence where I see a Laker Celtic win in the finals, and I want to see a Dodger series where I'm old enough to understand it, beating a Yankee team in the World Series. If this happens, my life is probably complete with my sports.
Okay.
It's probably complete. Although you could say I saw Dallas and Pittsburgh in Super Bowl 30, but I mean, I'd say that's probably their most rival interconference team. I just don't see Dallas going anywhere anytime soon. There's a better chance of the Steelers getting the Super Bowl
Oh,
than
and I'm not saying
Dallas.
I disagree with you on that, but again, the America's team, all that stuff from our era about how they were pushed and whatnot. It's
Well,
just.
I heard. Are you talking about the Cowboys?
I'm talking about the coverage they give the Cowboys, a preferential coverage of the
Well, the
NFL.
Cowboys, we keep we've talked about this with the Lakers. We're sitting here complaining about things, but what are we doing? What do we do? We watch all the games, and then we talk about it for 10 hours afterwards.
Yeah.
So people are complaining about Jarrett and the Cowboys, but then every time I see Cowboys Stadium, it's packed. Every time I see anybody outside, they're wearing gear. So your favorite guy on this planet in the sports world, Colin Cowherd, he said the line that I'll keep repeating because I think it's his best line ever. It's one of the best lines I've ever heard. And maybe it wasn't him who did it, but I heard it from him first. Don't listen to what people say. Watch what they do. You'll find that they're usually exclusive.
So, Joe, tomorrow, I know you have a busy day. John is confirmed with me that it'll probably be on the playback, not 100% on that, but he will do the post game with me. So don't feel pressured like you have to be here for it. If you will be, I welcome it. But I know you've got other things on your plate. I know you're going to obviously try to chime in with Empire Jeff, and I respect that. So we're here for you if you can and you're able to. And obviously would like to have you back on the show tomorrow as far as the post game or playback. Laker Nick, hopefully he'll be on as well. I do want to ask him about the wall and the legalities of the wall. And I want to see what he says as someone who is familiar with the legal profession. I want to hear what his thoughts are during the game tomorrow. So that's something I'm going to bring up. And obviously his thoughts on the Lakers, get deep in thought there. I know that also as well, Henry will probably be watching the Dodgers game as well. So yeah, everybody who stops on by, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Hopefully you'll still get a good conversation with us there tomorrow night for of course, the Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Lakers at home at the Crypt. Hopefully I'll be able to throw in a pregame, and then of course the best postgame will be happening after the game right here at, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. But Joe, actually a good conversation tonight. Just trying to touch on the NBA. I want to do at least once a week, just to get everybody to going, whether it's you and I or whether I bring a guest on or whatnot. This is really good. And then again, big shout out to Call Me Nakomi. If you get a chance, everyone, stop by Call Me Nakomi World. She did a fantastic job last night. I want to give her more props. Joe, she was tremendous last night on the air with you.
It's nice when you find someone who can articulate well and have information. Sometimes you get one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
She was able to do both.
Yeah.
The third thing is, can you entertain? And I thought she's very capable of doing that too. So I was very, very happy with how the show went with her. She started to get a little more loose towards the end too, which made it better.
Well, you have this period where they have to come to get to know you first.
She was extremely impressive. I was very happy, and I'm looking forward to doing more shows with her.
As am I as well. I look forward to it, whether it's here or her channel. Please support it. Give a like and subscribe. Like I hope you would give us a like and subscribe. We actually even got. Did you see the message that was sent earlier today in the email by someone congratulating us getting closer to 2K?
I do talk to Sean almost every other day, and conversation personally is different than working environment, and that's always been there. Sean is well aware of the personality on this side. He knows that he can be real and derogatory sometimes if he feels like he wants to be a little more aggressive. I've tried to preach that to him as much as I can. Look, if you can throw barbs at me and be a little aggressive, throw a couple F-bombs when I say something. It's not going to affect me. That's my game. That's how I grew up. So, and that's why our relationship is really good off in terms of direct connection. Where unfortunately the problems with us here is it there's a working environment here, and it tends to occasionally, or I should say, scheduled occasionally, become
Sketch. It is. You can set your watch to it, as I say.
and that's okay. Sean's had a tough year. He's also type 2 diabetic, and the body and the mind, man, it's a interesting thing sometimes when it gets affected. That's why I always count my blessings. I have eaten everything on this planet. I have I have done almost everything except skydiving in my life. Well, I've never parasailed or base jump, but you know you know where I'm going with this. I've done everything in my life that could have hurt me, in terms of activity, uh, and yet I'm healthy as an ox, and I feel bad sometimes for people like Sean and those who I know that are sick and have autoimmune issues. The autoimmune thing has been creeping up around me. Has it been happening to you?
Not around me,
My
but
sister, my really good friend Mike, like all of a sudden this autoimmune crap is starting to just creep up on people. I don't know what it is. Thyroid things and Graves' disease things, like this kind of stuff. And that ends up taking a lot of, sometimes for some it takes a toll. And here I am eating whatever the hell I want, doing whatever the hell I want. And I have a 130 over 78 blood pressure, and yeah, I have a few pounds that I could lose, but overall, knock on wood, I'm doing well. So I do kind of sympathize with those who I do care about, that they do have certain things that happen to them depending on what they have. But at the same time, in a working environment, there's stipulations there. There's barriers, just what it is. Fasting is legit. Yeah, I there was a while there where I was doing the whole 12 to 16, sometimes 18, and your body really reacts well to it.
well, there you go. But again, shout out to our awesome mods, all four of them seemingly Xbox guys. Jay is Jay, Kurt Affair, Search, all having fun with each other tonight. It's good to see that you guys aren't arguing for real, that you guys are actually having fun. So it's always good to see. Shout out to our members. Again, if you saw it, tried to put all 60 members right in the chat, right down below, as far as in this, this actually the banner that's going forth on the bottom. So you're all getting a shout out. But remember, emojis, badges, you get word on when we're going on the air ahead of everyone else. You also get as far as stuff that I send to you guys out there as members earlier than anywhere else. So yeah, just trying to keep going from there. But wow, interesting weekend, Joe. Got the World Series. It was mentioned by I think 805. We got USC. Who cares? They suck. Well, actually, I do because I'm a USC fan. But yeah, man, you could count the days until Lincoln Riley is fired. That's all.
Really? All that hype?
They should. That's what I was saying after
What were they gonna get? Now what?
USC is not patient.
Come on, dude. What's the problem at USC? Are they just not recruiting well, or
They
what?
just don't recruit. They recruit they will recruit like one or two top guys, but will not get the full flush out, like compared to an Alabama, compared to a Texas, compared to Ohio State, compared to Oregon. They don't get the classes that have just like from 1 to, let's say, 20 guys coming in. They're just overall, it's all top end, one or two guys, top 50. That's great. And then the rest are just because it's just a problem every year. One year it's the defensive line, one year it's the offensive line, one year it's the defense. It's USC has all the resources, all the money in the world to go and get these players, and they just can't get it done. And it's just sad to see that ever since Pete Carroll left, it's been a cluster ever since. But
and now they can't use they have the NIL. People are getting paid. So
hey, you can't use that. Can't use that excuse. They threw away 805, that LSU game, threw it down the toilet. They should have never gone to the Big Ten. Going to the Big Ten for most of those teams, Oregon's thrived, so I was proven wrong there. But the Washington, UCLA, USC, absolutely dumb for going to the Big Ten. Should have stayed in the Pac-12. Continue your success there and build it from there. If it costs you a couple million here and there compared to what you would have gotten in the Big Ten, it's fine. Do it. Just again, it's costing you more in the long run as far as your one loss record is concerned. But it is, that's what it is. But big weekend, my friend. Not to mention Venom 3, not to mention Call of Duty Black Ops 6, not to mention Star Trek Lower Decks as well. So yeah, awesome good stuff coming out. And Yakuza Like a Dragon on Prime Video, although I heard the reviews are not very good. I watched a few minutes of it, didn't like what I saw, but it is what it is. And don't forget, any word around the corner for Corrupt?
Corrupt will be out in a month.
Okay.
Like
you heard it here first.
Yeah.
I didn't want to quote it on the Super BS Gamescast earlier today, word for word. But
that's what I got today. I heard from my developer that it'll be done in a month, and we're gonna raw dog this thing and see. We got a hell of a response from the demo. We had people hitting us up going, please don't take the demo down. And that's with just 4 characters. What are these guys going to do when they play with 8, 11? So we are very excited that we're going to truly go out like a real indie. Like it's just going to be indie from beginning to end. And if this thing hits, this thing sells 250,000 units in the first month or something. Yeah, we're on our way, Gerald, and it's going to mean very good things for everyone.
Well, let's hope indeed. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Don't forget Joe's Corrupt, Coreupt. It's in the description below. Wishlist it now on Steam. But it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. We'll be back tomorrow for pregame, during the game, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, and the best post game that's out there. With or without Joe, we'll find out. But we'll be here for you, Lakers fans. Lakers and Suns going at it tomorrow right here on the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Good night, everyone, and be safe.